everyone, today I'm going to address the top 10, let's just call them mistakes that more mature women, women over 40, women over 50 and older tend to make in their makeup application. And when I say mistakes in air quotes, I really and truly don't believe that there are mistakes. I feel like makeup is a form of art, a form of self-expression, and art, as anything else, is in the eye of the beholder. So if you're happy with how you're putting on your makeup, you like what you're looking at in the mirror, then you just keep doing that. I am never gonna tell you to stop doing something. But I decided to make this video, first of all, because I feel like I'm finally really old enough to address it. I am 48 years old. I will be 49 at the end of March. And I'm noticing a lot more changes in my skin and the things that my skin needs and how my makeup goes on. And at the same time, I'm getting a lot of questions from my friends in real life as we are getting back together and seeing each other in person, asking for insight on how to change up their makeup or how to start from scratch. A lot of my friends are not big into makeup. And so I thought this would be a helpful video, if not for just my friends, maybe somebody that is watching. So I have 10, let's call them suggestions, that will help you with your makeup, because the needs and desires of someone who's in their 40s or 50s or older is very different from someone in their 20s and even in their 30s. So the first, let's just call them mistakes. We're gonna use the word mistake. It's the easiest thing to use throughout this video, but there's really no judgment here. So the first mistake that I see are that people don't change things up. They are doing the same skincare routine, the same makeup routine that they did in their 20s, and they're now in their mid-late 40s or older. The problem with that is, first of all, you don't look the same. You're not worse, you're just different. You don't look the same as you did in your 20s and 30s as we age. Our face falls down, we lose volume in our cheeks, we lose a lot of color, we lose definition in our face. There's things that we need to do differently. Our face isn't even in the same place. Our cheeks may have fallen, our lips are thinner, our eyes may be droopier. So the techniques that we used in our 20s are not going to necessarily work as we get older. Secondly, the trends change. I know the 90s are back. I lived through the 90s in college and I enjoyed them, but even though the 90s are back, they're not back in the same way that they were in 1994. Not only are the trends interpreted differently, but the products are different. We have better products now. So the very first mistake that I'm seeing is not changing with the times. And then the next mistake I see that goes right along with that is not changing up our skincare. No longer can we get away with going to sleep at night with a full face of makeup. Please, I hope nobody is still doing that. I was still doing that well into my 30s. We can't get away with that anymore. Of course you should be washing your face in your 20s as well, but the needs that we have as more mature women are vastly different. Our skin is different than when we were in our 20s. And I have some suggestions of products that you can add in to your routine to address those needs. First and foremost, I think it is imperative that you incorporate some sort of retinoid into your nighttime routine. A retinoid is a derivative of vitamin A. It exfoliates, it reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, it can brighten your complexion, it does all kinds of wonderful things for your skin. I use a prescription strength retinoid. The generic form is called tretinoin, and I get that prescription through Curology. I'll put the link down below. But there are excellent options over the counter, both drugstore and higher end. As far as drugstore goes, I love the Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair line. I love the Regenerating Cream. It's basically a moisturizer that has retinol in it that you can use all over your face. If you want a more targeted product for just under your eyes, they do make that as well. It's the Rapid Wrinkle Repair Eye Cream. Now remember, you're supposed to apply these in the evening. First of all, to just let it soak into your skin longer as you sleep, but also because using any kind of retinol or retinoid makes you more prone to sunburns. So don't put it on during the day, and absolutely wear your SPF every single day. So this is a great drugstore option. As far as a little more higher end, what I personally use every evening, it's from Colleen Rothschild, and it is the Retinol Supreme Eye Serum. Colleen also makes a retinol oil that you can use all over your face in lieu of or in addition to a moisturizer in the evenings as well. Another skincare product that I highly recommend you start incorporating into your skincare routine is vitamin C. And I think personally, SkinCeuticals makes hands down the best vitamin C serums on the market. It is extremely expensive, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna stand behind what I recommend. I'm gonna buy it myself. For years, I was using the vitamin C ferulic serum. It's a mouthful, and that's great. Vitamin C helps. It's an antioxidant. It helps with brightening, discoloration, a whole host of things. And then I switched over to another formulation. This is called Floretin CF. It has the ascorbic acid, which is the gold standard for vitamin C, along with ferulic acid. And this one is formulated more for drier skin as well as hyperpigmentation. And I noticed a big change in my skin when I started using this. Now there are over-the-counter vitamin C options as well. And there is a alleged dupe of this. I will put I think it's called Timeless something. I'll put the link to that. It's far less expensive. But I am very sensitive to vitamin C, and when I've experimented with other products, I've experienced pretty bad cystic acne. So when I found something that worked, I know it's expensive, I am not messing around with it. So this is what I personally recommend. And then I'd say if you want to add one more thing into your skincare, it's hyaluronic acid. I love the one from SkinCeuticals. It's the HA Intensifier. I just used mine up. And I am trying out a drugstore version. This is an internet sensation. It's from L'Oreal. And it's from their Revitalift line. It's the 2.5% hyaluronic acid plus caffeine. And it's a similar concept, similar application to the SkinCeuticals version. You can apply it before moisturizer because the hyaluronic acid helps your body absorb more moisture. And plumps up those lines and wrinkles. It's not gonna make them disappear, but it's certainly gonna help them appear to be smaller. So I apply it before moisturizer anywhere where I have lines. So not just around my eyes, but I'm getting lines here as well, and I'll even put it across my forehead. It has been said to help extend the length of your Botox if you apply hyaluronic acid morning and night, just a little FYI. And of course, SPF. You should be using SPF the minute you're exposed to the sun as an infant, but my two current favorites, the Colleen Rothschild, it is an SPF of 40, 100% mineral sunscreen. And then another option is the Elta MD UV Clear. It's a lot more moisturizing. And I also absolutely love the SkinCeuticals one as well. I just used mine up. Now let's move into all of the makeup tips, because even though makeup is the focus of this, if you don't get your skincare right, whatever you put on top isn't gonna make much of a difference. But before we talk about the makeup stuff, I'm gonna go wash my face off and I'm gonna apply it as we go, because number 3 on my list of common mistakes that more mature women make with their makeup is not wearing complexion products. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, fresh-faced. Skincare is reapplied. My neck turned a little bit red. I was scrubbing maybe a little too enthusiastically with my washcloth to get everything off in a hurry. Those of you who are used to watching me and how I do my makeup, this is going to seem far more minimal. But the makeup that I'm gonna be talking about today is addressed to those of you who are just getting into it or who normally don't wear any makeup at all or want something very, very light, very easy. So if you're into minimalist makeup, here we go. Like I said, the number 3 mistake that I see are women over a certain age not wearing any complexion products. Now, I look at my son's friends, they're in their 20s, they never wear foundation or powder or anything except for maybe dressing up. Their skin is flawless. It looks like they're wearing foundation and concealer and all that good stuff because they have young, youthful, glowing skin. This is not bad. I don't think it's bad, but I have hyperpigmentation, I have a little bit of melasma here, I have some acne scarring. This is a face that has lived a little bit longer, and I cannot get away with not wearing foundation anymore. I mean, you can if you want to, but you know what I mean. If you want to look like you did, if you want your skin to look like it did in your 20s, you're gonna have to add some stuff to it. So I'm not saying that you have to wear a full face of foundation. My recommendation for those of you who are a little scared of foundation is to try a good tinted moisturizer. And I still stand by the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer. It comes in 2 formulas now, one for oily skin, one for dry skin. I have very dry skin. Now, normally you apply your complexion product first and then you go on to step number 4, but the product that I wanna recommend to you actually goes on before you put on your all over makeup. So we're gonna skip ahead to step number 4, and that is not wearing any under eye concealer or corrector. I'm pretty lucky. I don't have too bad about bags or dark circles, but they're definitely there, and it's definitely more apparent once I put on my tinted moisturizer or foundation. I don't have a drugstore option to recommend, but I stand by this, especially if this is the only thing you're gonna put on your face. It is the Trish McEvoy Instant Eye Lift. I have talked about this for years. It comes in 3 shades. I am in the lightest shade. To apply it, you do a line underneath your eyes, and ideally you draw a little triangle, like so. I'm just gonna apply it on one eye. I'm gonna use my fingers, and if you just pat it in, make sure you get it into that inner corner here against your nose. That's where a lot of us have more darkness than anywhere else. If you just pat this in, of course you can use a brush or a sponge. You can even bring it across onto your eyelid. I don't know if you can see the difference, but this is the eye that has it on, and it's a very natural look. It corrects, it's very lightweight. It does not sit in my lines and wrinkles, and yes, they are there. I do get Botox, I will say, but I just got mine yesterday, so it hasn't kicked in yet. But look how much cleaner that under eye looks as compared to this one. So let me pop the other eye on really quickly, and then we'll get back to the tinted moisturizer. So we're gonna go back to step 3, and we're going to address the unevenness of my skin tone here. And like I said, love the Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. I am wearing it in 1W1 porcelain. I personally prefer my complexion products to be a little bit warmer than my actual skin tone, especially when you're more fair. You tend to look really, really pale if it's too cool toned. And I'm just gonna dab it on. Again, you can use your fingers, you can use a brush. I'm just gonna do one side, well, and that forehead, but I'm gonna do one side of my face. I do find that this is buildable. Don't let the moisturizer part in the name of the product mislead you. If you have dry skin, you're still gonna want to put on your regular moisturizer first, and you're gonna wanna put on SPF on top of that before you get to the tinted moisturizer. I'm trying to wipe it off that side of my face. This is buildable. It's not going to conceal. A common misconception with foundation is that it's going to cover all your imperfections. That is not what foundation is intended to do. It is intended to start as a foundation upon which you build. So this is generally to even out the skin tone, maybe give you a bit more of a healthier glow. But if you have areas of true discoloration, you're gonna have to go in with concealer. So this side of the face, tinted moisturizer. This side of the face, nothing. Let me do the other side, I'll be right back. For those of you that would prefer to wear an actual foundation, I have 2 recommendations. The drugstore option is fabulous. I wear this constantly. It's from L'Oreal. It's from their Age Perfect line, which is actually designed specifically for women over 40 and up. But if you're under 40 and you have dry skin, I definitely recommend this. It is their Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. I wear mine in the shade Rose Ivory. And for high end, my all-time favorite foundation, it's very forgiving and perfect for older skin. It's from La Mer. It's the Soft Fluid Long Wear Foundation. It definitely stands up to its name. It's long wear without being drying at all, and I wear mine in the shade Ivory. The next common mistake that I see women over 40 making with their makeup is doing nothing with their brows. Now, as we get older, our brow hairs tend to thin out. We start to get hair in other places like our chin. It's a thing. But we need those brows to add definition to our face and give us dimension. So even if it's just taking a spoolie and brushing the hairs that you have up, that definitely helps some. And I have pretty good eyebrows from here to here. And then due to age and hypothyroidism, the tails of my eyebrows are disappearing. So I definitely would recommend filling in your brows. Do not be intimidated. It is really not hard at all. I have a few products to recommend. On the drugstore side, I absolutely love the NYX Brow Mascara, especially if you're blonde. I like this shade Blonde. It's a nice ashy cool tone, won't make your brows turn red. And to fill them in, I actually use this every day. It's a newer product from NYX, and it is the Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen. I have it in the shade Ash Brown. And I think this is a lot easier to use than pencil. I'm gonna show you how I do it in a minute, but I wanna show you the higher end. If you prefer a pencil, I definitely recommend the one from Dior. It is called the Dior Show Brow Styler, and mine is in the shade 001 Brown, and I like that it also has a little spoolie at the end to brush through the product. And then as far as a higher end brow gel, I really enjoy the Kosas I actually have no idea what the full name is. I'll put it in the description box, but it's from Kosas and I use the blonde. And what I actually use every single day is the NYX brow marker and the Kosas brow gel. So I'm gonna quickly show you how I do that. So first I actually apply the brow gel and I like to brush up. And then as I get to the tail, a little bit angled up and out. This actually looks like a liquid liner, and it is, but it's for your eyebrows. It's also great to use to draw in more hair along your hairline if you'd like. It's pretty cool. But we're gonna stick to eyebrows, and I know I'm gonna get questions about microblading. I did it once years ago, and I really, personally, I have no reason to believe this, but I just don't think it's a good idea to do repeatedly. You're cutting thousands of little cuts into your delicate skin around your eye repeatedly. I can't imagine that long-term we're gonna think that's a good idea. So anyway, this concept works for both pencil and marker. First, I go into the inside part of my brow and I just find any bald spots and just flick it up. Then to the outside part, I outline the underneath part in little strokes. If you just do one long stroke, it's gonna look like you painted on your eyebrows. We don't want that. And I just draw in the hairs and I extend them a little bit longer than it really is. And you just over and over little strokes. So lots of little strokes over and over. If you hold the pencil farther back towards the end, then you won't have too much pressure. And before you know it, you have a brow. So that's one. It's not a huge difference on me, but I have a lot of friends who are practically bald from here on in, and it really makes a difference in the way that you look. Let me finish this eye and then we'll get to the next tip. The next mistake that I see being made over and over is neglecting your lashes. And by neglecting your lashes, I mean two things: not curling your eyelashes and not wearing mascara. Think about babies and very young children and how their eyes look so much bigger than the rest of their face. Big eyes tends to equal youth or a youthful appearance. And the best way to make your eyes look bigger than they actually are is to curl your lashes and wear mascara. And so many of my friends, when they ask me what they can do and I say, well, are you curling your lashes? They look at me like I am crazy. I have had these for years. They're from Shuramura. Almost any eyelash curler is going to be fine. You might want to experiment a little bit. I've had plenty of luck with those from the drugstore. Honestly, it's just because these are gold. I really like these. So curl your lashes, ladies, please. It doesn't hurt. You're the one doing it to yourself. You can apply the pressure gently. So if you feel like you're catching anything, you can stop. But generally, I open my eyes really big. I look slightly up and I fit them in. And then I give a little, I close them really gently. I'm not even squeezing. Make sure I'm not catching any skin. And then this is gross. And then I squeeze down and you hold it for 10 seconds. Lashes curled, not curled. It just opens up your eye. It even makes it look like you put on some mascara a little bit, but you didn't. The next thing you're definitely gonna wanna do is wear mascara. We tend to lose pigment all over the place in strange places. Like our hair turns gray, your lashes can turn gray, your brows can turn gray, and it makes you look washed out and makes your features look like they have disappeared. So adding mascara color back to your lashes really helps. I have so many recommendations, but my current high-end favorite is probably the Wander Beauty Unlashed Mascara. I also love the Lancome Mercier Big. As far as drugstore, I love pretty much everything I've ever tried from L'Oreal. Lash Paradise and Air Volume, I think it is, are two of my personal favorites. Before I get to this though, I have to stress, this is really helpful, especially if you're new to wearing mascara, and that's lash primer. And the reason I say it's helpful is because it helps you separate all of your lashes and it gives the mascara just something else to cling to. So I'm gonna put it on really quickly on the top. It's white. It helps to separate your lashes. And then I'm immediately gonna go in with my mascara. And I'm using the Wander Beauty because I don't have a newer tube of the L'Oreal handy. And I just start at the base and wiggle and pull. So this side, curled lashes, mascara applied to top lashes only. This side has nothing. Now I currently still wear mascara on my lower lashes. I like how that looks and I think I can still pull it off. But if you're worried about accentuating any of the extra visible lines that you have here, or you're just really uncomfortable, you can definitely skip the lower lashes, but do not skip the upper lashes. Let me finish the side, I'll be right back. This next mistake that I see, I probably should have done earlier on in my list, but that is the use of powder. Now, I'm not saying to not use powder. I would be contradicting myself because I use powder every single day. But there is definitely a concern as we age and we get more texture to our face with lines and wrinkles, that if you use too much powder, the wrong type of powder, it just is gonna sit in all our cracks and crevices and make things look even worse. However, I personally feel like powder is necessary, especially if you are using any kind of under eye concealer. A little bit of powder will set that area and actually stop it from creasing. It seems oxymoronic, but it actually works. However, you need to know what type of powder to use. If you are absolutely terrified about using powder, the two that come to mind, the IT Cosmetics, what is it called? Airbrushed, Bye Bye, Under Eye, it's very fine, loose powder. I'll put that down in the description box. But the one I use, again, it's an investment, but this might last you a decade. It's by the brand by Terry, and it's loose setting powder that actually has hyaluronic acid in it. So it's moisturizing, or at least it's not drying, let's put it that way. And the tiniest little bit will last you forever. It's practically like dust. So what I do is I just take that tiny bit that's in the lid. I love the Real Technique setting brush. I just put a little on the brush and I just lightly dust under each eye. And then I'll take a fluffier brush, just take what's left in the cap. This is a really old Sephora brush, and just lightly dust all over my face. The reason I set my makeup, even though I have dry skin, I'm gonna just do a little bit more. Even though I have dry skin, I do like to layer on lots of powder products, and I feel like if I don't set the wet makeup, like the foundation, it'll get patchy, and anything I put on top, like bronzer or blush or highlighter, will stick to the more moisturized parts of my face. So putting on a light coating, so to speak, of powder helps me put on the next layer of makeup products. However, if you want to bypass powder altogether and you're just worried about being shiny, I recently discovered this little gadget. It's from Revlon. It's a volcanic roller ball. It looks like a little weird deodorant, but this is a stone. And you can roll it over the areas that get shiny, and it doesn't lift off your makeup and somehow takes down the shine. Look, there's nothing on here. No makeup. It's amazing, and it's small enough to fit in any kind of purse. So if you want to skip powder altogether, you're gonna love this. So today I'm not gonna put on any more eye makeup, but a very, probably the most common mistake that I see with, well, a lot of people, but I see it more in older women, is the use of eyeliner. And there's a couple things I'm gonna talk about here. I have always had tiny little small beady eyes, and I've always had somewhat hooded eyes, even when I was young. But for a lot of women, you don't get hooded eyes until later on as you age, as you lose elasticity and collagen and your eyelids start to droop and you get a hooded eye. And so you have already a smaller eye to begin with. If you encircle it in a dark eyeliner, you're making your eyes look tinier. You're making them look smaller, especially when women, they just love to do this. They take a really dark eyeliner, like a black, a dark brown, or I often see a navy blue, and they just draw a heavy line under the eyes and nothing on the top. It just makes your eyes look like they're sinking and falling down into your face, plus it closes them off. So the one tip, if you take away from anything I'm talking about today, ditch your eyeliner. I stopped wearing eyeliner altogether years ago. I load up a ton of mascara, it opens up my eye just fine, and I wear eyeshadow and we're good. Now, if you want to show the illusion of a slightly bigger eye and add some definition without closing off your eye, just take a pencil brush or a smudger brush and take a very soft eyeshadow, like a very light brown shade, like what you would use in your transition, and just smudge a little bit under your eye in lieu of the eyeliner. And the good thing about that is not only does it open up your eye and help make your eyes look actually a little bit bigger, but since it's not eyeliner, it's not gonna smudge and smear and fall down your face as the day progresses. If you wanted to stop with complexion products here, of course you could, and you're welcome to do so. But a tip that I wanna recommend, the next mistake I see people make, is not wearing blush. And like I've said earlier, as we age, we tend to lose that youthful glow, that flush of youth. You know, think about, like, again, young babies, young children with those big rosy cheeks, that rosy glow. Well, as we age, we lose that. And so if you want to appear more youthful, you have to add it back in. So my recommendation is to definitely use blush, go with softer, more sheer shades. I'm not gonna tell you to only use matte, I don't. I like something that has a little bit of a satin finish to it. And the placement is also important. If you smile and put it on the apples of the cheeks, as we've all been taught to do, that's great, but most of us don't walk around like this all day long, and when we stop smiling, our face sinks. So my recommendation is still do it on the apples of your cheeks, but do it up higher, almost right up until your under eye. I have 2 blushes that I wanna recommend. Again, the L'Oreal Age Perfect line, specifically, I love the shade Rosewood. And then the Buxom line, these are great blushes, very user-friendly, and I love the shade Seychelles. That's what I'm gonna use today. By the way, this blush brush is hands down my favorite. It is from Flower Beauty, very affordable. So just get it on your brush, tap. I'm gonna use the L'Oreal mirror though. And I'm not even gonna bother smiling. I see where the apples of my cheeks are. I'm gonna go over that and just add it a little higher up and keep it more concentrated in the center of my face. If I start pulling it back, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely a dated thing, and we wanna stay modern. We wanna adapt with the times. You can also add a little color to your temples as well. You can swirl it a little back, but put the most color right up here. And if you feel like you have put on too much blush and you happen to have used a foundation brush to put on your makeup, take that same brush and just dab over it to take down the color a little bit. The very last tip that I have for you, number 10, is again addressing the fact that we're losing something and we need to put it back in. And I am talking about our lips. Now, I've never had great lips to begin with, so I'm not working with a lot, but as I've aged, they've gotten thinner. I'm losing volume in my lips and the edges aren't as defined as they used to be. And I have to admit, I'm very guilty of not doing this step, and I'm making a concerted effort to change that, and that is to add lip liner. Wear lip liner, but wear a lip liner that matches your lip color. Don't try to match your lipstick. It also will help if you're a lipstick wearer, it'll help stop feathering and bleeding off of your lips. I today am using an oldie but a goodie for me. It's the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil in the shade Naked. If you are looking for a great drugstore lip liner, love the NYX lip liners. And I'm not gonna overdraw my lips. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm gonna just slightly outline. And the trick, there are some tricks though. When you do your lower lip, smile, it pulls the skin taut and you'll really be able to see where that line is. And when you do the upper lip, don't smile and start from the corner and draw up. I don't know why it works this way, but it will definitely help look like it's a little more pouty and voluminous without overdrawing your lips. From here, you can fill in your whole lips, apply some gloss. Definitely you need to add a little bit of moisture back into your lips as we age, especially our lips get drier. I'm gonna skip the gloss and I am gonna go for a lipstick, a more satin creamier lipstick. I've never been a fan of matte lipstick to begin with, but definitely as we age, it's not very helpful. And this is just Maybelline Romantic Rose. I've loved this shade for a very long time. So there you have it, a full face of the top 10 tricks and tips that I have for women over 40 to correct the common mistakes that I see them making all the time. You can have a full face, so to speak, of makeup without looking like you're wearing a full face. If I didn't talk you through this whole thing, you could do this whole thing in about 5 minutes. It's a really easy everyday face to have on. If you want to see more tips, more in-depth, full eyeshadow, full face looks of makeup, be sure you subscribe so you don't miss them. I try to do at least 1 or 2 every month. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you found this information helpful, maybe a little entertaining, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.